Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, today I just need to cure my curiosity. I just want to see how this one's made. This has become one of my favorites. For all of you that don't know about it, this is the Kershaw Bareknuckle. It's made in the USA, and this one has the, what do you call it, the 1428 CN or whatever, the Sandvik steel. I absolutely love it. The steel works very well. It holds a good edge. I haven't had to resharpen it or anything. I've been using it for my daily cutting chores. It's an absolutely beautiful knife. And they also made these with the Smoky Mountain Knife Works. They had special editions that are out there. I don't think you can no longer purchase them brand new. You have to find them on the secondary market, on the collector market. And they had like 20 CV ones. And I think they also had a Damascus steel one too. I got the 20 CV one and they're all blacked out, and I'm saving that as a collector. I absolutely love these knives. This is a perfect knife for EDC. That's the best way I can describe it. It's an excellent knife for EDC. The Kershaw Bareknuckle, made in USA. Absolutely love it. I love this black stonewash. I think that's one of the things I really like about it. I like the color of the handles. It's perfect. I like the black pocket clip. It hides away nicely in your pocket. It's not so. It looks a little bit tactical, but it's not too tactical where it's intimidating. Makes a great everyday user. This is a great everyday user. My other great everyday user that I love so much is my Cold Steel American Lawman. That's been my all-time favorite for EDC and for work. And I also like my microflip too, my Hogue microflip. That's an awesome knife to carry to work too. And last year my favorites were my SOGs, my SOG XRs. But that was last year, and SOG XRs are still some of my favorites, but this is a different year, and I did the 6 SOG XRs last year. So there's only one I have in my box this year is the one I purchased this year, because my box, I try to change it every year. But this year I purchased I purchased 2 SOGs. One was the stainless steel lined one, the Kiku. I got my second one, and that's the one that's in my box right now. And I also purchased the carbon fiber. And I absolutely love that one, but I just love the stainless steel one better. I know the carbon fiber one is super light. It weighs like half as much as the stainless steel Kiku, but I just love the stainless steel Kiku. I love that's a real heavy duty little folder. It's like to me it's like the small version of the SOG Seal XR. Absolutely love it. But anyway, I want to take this one apart because the main reason why I want to take it apart because I want to find out if it has a hardened steel what do you call it, an insert or whatever for the blade tank for the it's not a frame lock. What's the name of this kind of lock? I forget the name. It's not a liner lock, it's not a frame lock, it's in between. I just want to find out how it's put together. Nothing's wrong with this knife. This knife functions flawlessly. It centers out perfectly. Absolutely nothing wrong. I have no complaints with this knife whatsoever. I just want to see how it's put together. I just need to satisfy my own curiosity. So I think it's going to be a T8 and a T6 to take it apart. Let's find out. Ooh, that one's really tight. It feels like it's Loctited. And if it's Loctited, oh, there it goes. It must have been Loctited. Let's just loosen it up for now. Go to the T6s. Those unscrewed easier. That one unscrewed easier. I can feel like they got a little bit of Loctite on them now. That one was a little bit tough. I wonder what type of Loctite they use. It almost feels like it could be a red Loctite. The type of Loctite where they don't want you taking apart the knife, basically. Okay, those are all unscrewed. Let's unscrew this one. The pivot screw. Oh yeah, I had a lot of Loctite on it. A lot of Loctite. That's the reason, but that's the reason why the pivot didn't move, and it always stayed lined up perfectly. Well, these are some long screws. Wow, that is a super long screw. Long screw, 2 long screws and a short screw. So the screws aren't all the same size, and I don't know if you can see that, but they got Loctite up at the screw head. That's the area that you shouldn't be putting Loctite on. You should be putting Loctite on the bottom of the threads, not where the screw head is. That's not a good place to have Loctite. Look how long these screws are. Very long screws. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We leave a little pressure off of the handle. Okay, we got a slab. I'm going to leave the pin in there. I don't need to take the pin out. And these pins, this is a groove side. Now let me see if the other side's grooved. Feels like it has grooves, but I can't see grooves. I'm going to put this back in exactly the way it was because I don't want to change any of the fitment or anything like that. It's got a washer that goes against the ball bearings, against the handle scale. Let's clean this off, and I'm going to put it right back into the handle scale. Because this knife worked perfectly. I don't want to change anything on it. I'm just curious to see how it's made and how it's put together. And that's how I am usually when I get a knife that I really like. I always want to take it apart and see how it's put together. Because I like to know everything about it. Just out of curiosity. Okay, these are caged. Caged in brown phosphor cage. Let's get off all the old oil. And that's the way it went in on that. Here's the blade tang. The back spacer. And so it doesn't look like there's any sort of insert. And this back spacer is made out of a plastic, or it might be a FRN or a G10 or something, but it's not metal. First I thought it might be an aluminum back spacer, but it's actually a plastic back spacer. Feels like plastic to me. And there is no hardened insert on this one, so it's more like a liner lock. Subframe. That's what these are called, subframe locks. Subframe. And the reason why is because the way it's constructed. It looks like a frame lock. But it's really more like a liner lock than a frame lock. It's just a heavy-duty frame lock. Heavy-duty liner lock. That's the way I'd sort of put it. It's in between, it's the missing link in between the missing link in between the frame and the liner lock. This hardened steel insert or washer, it doesn't want to come out. Let's see if I can get it to come out. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. I need to get a magnet. I don't have a magnet. See if I can push it out. There it goes. I just want to make sure everything's nice and clean before I put it back together. That's why I got to make sure I get it out. Get out all the old grease. Goes in like that. Clean this up. Like that. And these I'm going to put a little dab of grease on them. Making sure I'm putting it back together exactly the same way it was. Because I'm using this knife a lot, I want these to be lubed. Alright. That's all the grease I need. Yeah, a little bit too much grease on that one. Don't want to get grease on the pivot. Or the screws of the pivot, rather. Alright, let's put it back together. Make sure I don't got any grease in the pivot. Alright. Put a little dab of oil in here. Everything looks like it's fitting together properly. Let's go ahead and put these screws back in. Put a little dab of Loctite on. I'm going to clean them off first. Take off whatever kind of Loctite they were using. I like my Loctite better than blue Loctite. Screwing, I'm cleaning off the threads. That's what I'm doing right now. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just cleaning off the old Loctite. All right, here we go. Let's start off with putting some Loctite on these, and you just put Loctite on the threads. You don't put them on the, what do you call it, the head of the screw. You just put them on the bottom of the base of the screw where the threads are. You don't need to use a whole lot of Loctite, just a little bit. Because you always want to be able to take apart your knife again. You just don't want it to be moving around on you when you're using it. So you just put it on the head. You don't put it on the base of the screw. And let it sit there and dry for a second. Or get started getting dry. All right. We're not tight this one first, so we're going to put this one in first. And just always go finger tight. Just go finger tight. That's all you need to do. That piece not perfectly lined up yet. There we go. Remember, finger tight. There's finger tight right there. Finger tight right there. This has definitely become one of my favorite knives, though. I just wanted to see if it was like a more like a frame lock or more like a liner lock. I would say that the way it's because it doesn't have the hardened steel insert, I'd say it's more like a liner lock, but like a real strong liner lock. Let's put it that way. Because I would have definitely more faith in this one because you can hold the lock in place. It's like a frame lock. That's one thing I like about frame locks, is that you can hold the lock in place. Perfectly centered. Let me see if I got it too tight. So you can see it go center. See what I'm looking at. You can't see it like that, huh? Let me see if I can do it like this. Right about there. perfect. Little bit favoring the right there. That's perfect. Very well made knife. Absolutely love these. Highly recommend these. These are great knives for. This is one of the, to me, one of the best American knives that you can buy. Made in USA type knives for under $100. I think this is one of the best ones I've seen so far. Because, well, you know, I haven't seen them all either, though. You know, I haven't really seen any of the cheap Benchmades or Spydercos or anything like that. But this one's very, you know, it's made very nicely, though. It's got the 6061 heat-treated aluminum handle scales, aircraft aluminum handle scales. It's got the steel subframe. I love this. I love the Swedish Sandvik steel, the black wash blade. This is a beautiful blade. Absolutely love this knife. And it's very lightweight. It's easy to carry. I highly recommend the Kershaw Bareknuckle, made in USA Bareknuckle. 3mm thick blade, which is perfectly thick. You know, you don't need anything thicker like that than for an EDC knife, for a knife that you carry to work, for an everyday carry knife. Excellent knife. This knife works good for everything. It's a good all-around blade. It's a blade that has lots of uses because it's not too thick, so it slices very nice too. Absolutely love it. It's a great knife. I don't have too many knives from Kershaw. Most of my knives from Kershaw are the American ones. I think I only have one that's not American. And that's the one with the Hawks lock. But all my other Kershaws are American made. And I absolutely love them so far. My automatics, my Switchblade, California legal one, and the one that's not California legal, my two Kershaws, the launches, those function perfectly fine too. You know, I wouldn't use them as a self-defense folder though. I don't know. They're kind of thin and not strong enough for that, if you ask me. But this one's a great folder for everything. This would be great for self-defense. You know what I mean? It's a last-ditch self-defense weapon. It's not only good. It's not only good for as a work knife, but it's also good for a tack knife. You know, or a tactical knife. When that you might, you know, for law enforcement or whatever, you might need it for all sorts of different uses. I think it'd be good for that too. It's an excellent knife. Highly recommend the Kershaw Bareknuckle. But that's all I got for you today. Just want to do a little exploratory video on the Kershaw, see how it's constructed. And I absolutely love the Kershaw. I sort of wish it would have had the hardened steel insert like you know other frame locks have, but it doesn't have that. And that's okay, but because this knife works perfectly fine. And it sort of looks like if this piece started to wear out, it looks like it'd be replaced because it's just bolted in. If they make parts for it, that is. I don't know if they're going to make parts for it. But it looks like it'd be easy to replace this liner. Or the subframe, should I say. Absolutely love this knife. It's one of my favorites. And the edge on this is great. It's a great knife. Highly recommend it. The Kershaw Bareknuckle. It's one that I've been using now for 3 or 4 weeks now, about a month now. And it's turned into one of my favorite knives. This one, the other new ones I've tried out that I really like, the small ones, would be the micro flip and my old school one that I bought again this year because I just had to have it in my drawer. My American Lawman. I've been loving the American Lawman ever since it came out for an EDC knife, for everyday carry knife. It's always been one of my favorite knives to carry for work and everything else. Awesome knife. As a matter of fact, don't want to lose oil all over the place. Oh, I didn't mention this one too. And the next potential one. Let's bring out all my small ones I like. I know this video is going to be long. I always make long videos, I know. Love the Kiku. That's a great one right there. Love this one, the Microflip, the Hogue Microflip. Awesome knife. Awesome knife. Spyderco Sliver Axe. Oh man, that's a beautiful knife. Beautiful knife. Don't worry about the detent. It's a beautiful knife. This blade is good for everything that I have to use it for. Oh yes. Oh yes, and I resharpened this blade too. Let me see how sharp I got it on my work sharp. I don't think I made another video about it after I sharpened it. Grab some scratch paper over here. I sharpened my American Lawman. This is my S35VN Saber Ground version of the American Lawman. And I resharpened it on the work sharp. It's now my sharpest knife. This knife is super sharp. Super, 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 super sharp. I like the work sharp. Absolutely love the work sharp. I'm digging it so far. I like it a lot better than my Lansky system. I definitely recommend the work sharp over the Lansky system. If you're deciding between the two, get the work sharp. The precision adjustable work sharp. That would be my recommendation to you. Over the Lansky system. The Lansky system just moves around too much. But I absolutely love the work sharp. And I put a nice edge on it too. Because the Lansky system had sort of messed this knife up a little bit. And I was able to repair it with the work sharp. Absolutely love it. And one of my other new favorites that I like now, look at that. This is almost 4 millimeters thick. Almost 4 millimeters in between 3.9 or something like 3.8 and 3.9 millimeters. Very, very, very thick blade stock. Just like a cold steel. Like, it reminds me of the Tonto Light. Or is that the right one? The Air Light, the Tonto Air Light, I think it was. It's like the same size and it's got the same thickness all the way to the tip. This is a super stout little knife. Super stout little knife. And the only beef I got with it is that the blade grinds aren't the same on both sides. See how that one's straight? And this one has like a little belly to it or something? See what I'm talking about? I'm talking about this braid, that line right there. But other than that, this knife is perfect. Absolutely love it. It's got 6061 aluminum handle scales. These aren't titanium, it's aluminum. But it's thick. Look how thick that is. Look at the back spacers over there, the barrel spacers. They're big and thick too. Everything's beefy on this. It's built like a tank. For a liner lock, I mean not a liner lock, but for a frame lock, it's built like a tank. It's got the hardened steel insert. It's got the what you call it, the stop or whatever. Absolutely love it. And this is a S35VN blade, and it's made by Case. Yes, this is a Case flipper. The Kenzua. The Case flipper. I got it at the Knife Center. Had it on back order for a long time. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. This is another one of my new favorites. I haven't even carried this one to work yet. That's how new this one is. But I absolutely love it. These are the ones I like to carry to work the most. Why? Because to me they make proper work knives because they're not too intimidating, they're not too big, and for me they're not too small. I don't like little dinky knives either. This is probably about the smallest knife I have. Well, I like my Cold Steel Tough Light too, though. Now I think that might even be smaller than this one because this has a 2.75 inch blade, and the Tough Light, if I remember right, is 2.5 inch. I think that's what it is. Don't hold me to that. I'm not gonna swear to it, but I think it's a 2.5 inch blade. Absolutely love the Hogue. This is one of my favorites. The Hogue. I highly recommend the Hogue. This is a very high quality small knife. Very heavy duty, very robustly built, and it's durable. It's durable. I've used this knife a lot this year. And it's a super durable knife. It's got CPM 154 stainless steel blade, and I've never needed to resharpen it. I have stropped it. It's a beautiful knife. And the edge comes polished. It'll come to you polished. That's the way Hogue works. Hogue don't play, but when it comes to their edges, they're down with their edges. Absolutely love it. Hogue Microflip. These are about $120 or so. I've seen them as low as like $110 or so. It depends on when you buy them. If you get them like a holiday sale or whatever. Excellent knife. I would highly, if you like small knives, this is the one that I would recommend. Hogue Microflip. My previous ones I used to really like was my Mini American Lawman, but they don't make those no more. And this one's a new one, and about that same blade size that I really like. Because there's only been a couple of small, like I would call micro knives I've ever liked. Because usually I don't like micro knives, because I like knives that really fit my hand. And this one doesn't fit. I get like a 3-finger grip in this one, but the grip is so good, it feels like I got a solid grip on it. And when you choke up, you get a full grip. But I would use it in this grip. It's an excellent little knife. Excellent little knife. My other favorite little knife is this one. This one you can get a full grip. Now I think my hands are like medium large. I don't have super big hands because I'm not super fat or anything like that. So I don't have, super big fingers or anything. But this I wear a large size glove, extra large size glove for motorcycle gloves. And they don't fit me super tight. So if I was going to fit a glove super tight, probably a large. I like my gloves to fit a little bit loose. Sort of like my clothes. I don't like tight fitting clothes either. I don't like anything beyond me too tight. I absolutely love this one. The SOG Kiku. The SOG XR lock has probably become one of my favorite locks. Yes, I did say that. It's become one of my favorite locks. Because out of all the locks that I've used, this is the one that's most fun to use. And I think I'm pretty good with all the knife locks that I've tried. I've figured them out and figured out how to use them and stuff like that. And to me, the SOG XR lock is the easiest knife lock to use. And it's still a very strong lock because it's like a access lock. The only difference is it has a flipper too. And they actually use better springs than the Benchmade uses. This uses Wolf springs instead of Omega springs. Absolutely love this knife. This is a beautiful knife. The way it's made, it's just really super badass. To me, this is the nicest 3-inch folder on the planet. I don't know any other 3-inch folder I'd rather have than this one. This is an awesome knife. The SOG XR Kiku XR. Sliver axe. Oh man, I love the sliver axe. The sliver axe is probably one of the lightest ones here. Easiest to carry. You got like you got a 3.5 inch cutting edge and like 3.25 inch blade if you go from here. If you go from here, it's like 3.5 inches. Beautiful knife. Beautiful knife. And it's extremely light. I don't even know how much it weighs on my scale out, but it's extremely light. Extremely light. Beautiful knife. And the knife edge holds, S30. This one's CTS 6HP. And this one's S30V, or what do you call it? Is that right? S30VN? Is that right? Am I saying that right? Tai Chum. CPM S30V. CPM S30V. Powdered steel. American Lawman. I love the American Lawman. The American Lawman has been my favorite ever since it came out. All other knives must compete against the American Lawman for my favorite EDC status. American Lawman is the most dependable, reliable EDC folder that I can think of that I like to carry. If this is the sturdiest, strongest out of all of these. And it's comfortable in the hand. And it's not too heavy. 3.5 millimeter blade. This one has the saber ground blade. The other one I used to like to carry was the CTS 6HP. Oh, this is S35EN. Did I say it was a CTS 6HP? It's S35EN. This is saber ground. This is the new one for this year. This is the one I bought this year to carry. I tried to put a convex edge on it. I think I got pretty close to a convex edge. And that's one thing that's cool about the workshop is as you sharpen it, you could change the angles. And I was trying to get the rounded edge instead of the super flat edge, because it's my understanding that convex edges are stronger than a V grind, than a V edge. And I was trying to do something a little bit different than a V edge. Came out super sharp. And I went from 17 degrees to about 23 degrees. I started at 23, then went down to 20, then like 18, and then 17 I think was like where I went down the lowest. Took me quite a while. I still would like to get a little bit higher polish on it. I need to get some of those lapping film and for the workshop that I've seen. And I bet you I could even put a higher polish on it. Actually, absolutely love the workshop. The workshop rocks. And this is the new one. Absolutely love this one too. The case is making a really nice knife. And my understanding, this is made in the same case factory in the United States where they make all their what do you call it? The ones without the locks. What's up, Juju? Slip joints. Make all their famous slip joint knives. So it's coming out of their famous factory. This is an excellent knife. It feels perfectly safe. When you release the lock bar, you're still perfectly safe with it. Awesome knife. I highly recommend the case Kenzua. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But I love this. I've always loved case knives. I have a lot of case knives. If you don't know that by now. I used to collect the slip joints and all the other case knives, the little knives and everything like that. Used to be one of the things I used to be into collecting was the case knives. I haven't been into collecting case knives for about 20 years. So all my case knives are like 20 years or older. So they're very old. This is my newest case knife. I haven't bought a case knife in a long, long time. I saw this one at Knife Center and it was a slip joint. I said, I gotta try that because I love case knives. But I must admit, I felt a little bit let down when they had the grind lines a little slightly different. This line right here on both sides of blades. Can you see that? I want them to be the same on both sides. I like matching grind lines on both sides of the blade. But you know what? That has nothing to do with the function of this blade or anything like that. I've looked at pictures of other ones in their advertisement photos and it looks like they have the same grind lines. So I think maybe, I don't know if these are machine ground. And if they're machine ground, maybe the machine ground them all the same way. For this run of knives anyway. For the first run. But I love the Kenzua. Kenzua rocks. American made too. It's made in the United States. The Hogue's made in the United States. This is made in Taiwan. The Kiku XR. The Slivrax is made in Taichung, Taiwan. The Cold Steel is made in Taiwan. This was made in the United States. And this was made in the United States. The Kershaw. My new love, the Kershaw. And this is basically, you know, out of all these knives, it's probably the most simple. Because they call it a subframe lock. It's really like a different kind of, it's like taking a liner lock and making it stronger, if you ask me. Because making a liner lock more like a frame lock. And I absolutely love this knife. This knife feels perfectly safe too. Not only because of the flipper, because when you have the frame, you're holding the frame lock behind the blade tang, so it keeps it from coming undone. Sort of like a Scorpion. Andrew Demko Scorpion lock. All right, I'm gonna cut this one off here because I know this one has gone way too long. And I know that there's one more knife that I didn't bring out. I need to bring out because it's my other knife that I like to carry too for a work knife. Sorry about that, people. I gotta bring this one out real quick. D2. This is the Trask. D2 blades, CRKT, 3.8 millimeter blade. Deadbolt. Flavio Kuma Deadbolt. And this is the Trask. That's the other one I like to carry too. This one and this one have the Trask and the American Lawman have the two strongest lock types. After that, I would say it would be the Kiku XR as a strong lock type. And after that, I would have to say it would be the Case with the frame lock. And after that, I would have to say it would be the Kershaw with the subframe lock. And after that, I would have to say it would be the Hogue with and the reason why I'm saying the Hogue, because the Hogue lockup on Hogues, it pretty much covers the blade tang. It covers like half of the blade tang for the plunge lock. I think that'd be pretty strong. Whereas the compression lock is really like a reverse liner lock. And I don't know how strong these are. I've seen one test it and didn't do too well. But I absolutely love it. And because of the way that this one's made, see that big old loop there that's for your finger to fit in? This knife can't fold in on your hand. I don't care how hard you push on. I'm pushing on it super hard. You can see how hard I'm pushing on it. This knife cannot fold in on your hand. This is a very good knife. If you're holding it like this, this knife is not going to fold in on your hand. I don't care if the lock is a weaker type lock. Your hand's going to keep this blade locked up. Just like a Scorpion lock or a frame lock. Your hand, when you got this deep choil and you got a big flipper like this that encases your finger, don't remove that flipper. The flipper's keeping your fingers safe. I hear people talking about they want to remove flippers all the time. That's a dumb thing to do. Why would you want to take something up, remove something off of a blade that helps keep the knife, you know, helps protect your fingers from getting chopped up if the knife lock fails? I don't see, that doesn't make sense to me. I hear people talk about doing that all the time. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, maybe it's because I have been hurt by a knife that had a knife lock fail, that I'm more aware of it, or more conscious of it. And I just know how important it is not to have a knife fold in on your hand. Because it will jack up your hand, you will have to go to the hospital, and you will have to get stitches. It's not fun. It'll ruin your day. If not, your week, because it'll take a while to heal. Huh, Juno? What you doing? You wanna get in the video? You want to get in the video, sweetie? That's my girl. That's my girl. All right. Well, it's time to go, people. Peace out. Stiletto. Have a great day.